اول باید از مقام معظم رهبری تشکر کنیم که قطعا اگر ایشون نبود من تصور نمی کنم به این راحتی از این صندوق اسلام در میامم. من رأی شما را طوقی سنگین بر گردن خود میدانم و تعهد میدهم که همچنان گوش شنوایی برای سخنان شما و صدای بی صدایان و طرد شدگان باشم.
Someone like Masoud Pezeshkian, who is a non-cleric, who cannot be a supreme leader, his sudden emergence as president raises the question, why him, why now? And I frankly think it's too early to judge, but I think one thing we have to assume has happened, and that is the top echelons of power in the Islamic Republic, the office of the supreme leader, and the generals in the Revolutionary Guards, who really called the shots on some of the key issues in Iran. They had a good sense of Iranian society and decided that this is a very angry population. We need to do something. We need to create political space. Otherwise, we're going to end up with more street protests and so forth. Someone like Pezeshkian can play the role of maybe diffusing the situation, at least in the short term. And I think that is probably the reason why he was allowed to run and he was allowed to win. As a candidate, he has spoken the language of change. And that is the appeal. I mean, he got about 16 million votes in a country where essentially, particularly the younger demographic, have long time ago decided elections in Iran don't matter. Decisions are made by people who are not in elected office, but are made by people like the Supreme Leader and the Revolutionary Guards. So why vote? But he managed to get 16 million votes. We have to assume most of that is real figure, is not made up figure by the regime. So why would 16 million people vote for Pezeshkian? Because of his promise of change. But can he deliver on change that the Iranians want? Can he, for example, come in and, push back on some of those draconian laws that exist in the country, things like mandatory veil, the hijab, some of these religious dictated positions of the regime? He cannot. And he has made it very clear that he will hope he can engage the rest of the regime in a dialogue. But one thing Pezeshkian has done, maybe cleverly, is to say from the beginning of him entering this race that he will stay within the frameworks as they are set by the Supreme Leader. He knows, we know, he's always going to play second fiddle to the Supreme Leader. But this is the big question, the million-dollar question. What does the rest of the regime, including Khamenei and the Revolutionary Guards, think right now this country needs to do in terms of changes, domestic, foreign, to maintain political stability at a time where you have an 85-year-old Supreme Leader who might leave the stage and you don't want a crisis on your hands during that transition period? This idea that you can just sort of put a wall around the country and ignore the rest of the world, it doesn't work out in practice. That was Pezeshkian's message. It's a message that goes down really well in Iranian society that's dealing with the economic impact of sanctions. But Pezeshkian has also said throughout that he's not going to be able to do anything that different on key strategic issues, on those big issues like what to do with the United States, what's Iran's position on Israel, what is Iran's position on the nuclear program, its missile program, its regional actions. He has made it clear that those will be outside his purview.